I first want to say a special thank you to Cindy, Francis, and the SPS team. I'm really excited to be here. I'm honored to be part of this wonderful event. So, what I want to do is just tell you a little bit about how I feel, how I felt through my career. One of the things I feel, and it's kind of odd because I sometimes feel like I'm not in my body. I'm looking at this life and it's surreal, but actually I'm in my body experiencing it. Uh, so I think when I first was asked to work on on a parents fund for a fundraising event, I was excited. And most people say, "You were excited about asking for money?" And I said, "Yes, I actually was excited." And I went, asked someone for some money, and I got $200. And I was over the moon. I thought, wow. So I thought, wow, this is so much fun. And my friend who had asked me to do this work, she was like the stalker kind of person who was like stalking everyone until they gave money. And I said, I'm not going to go with that approach. I think I'm going to go with really getting people excited about the organization. And that seemed to work. And from there, I went from that $200 gift to a gift of $1 million in a capital campaign. And that was extraordinary. I have to say, the $200 gift was pretty exciting too, because it was my first one. But that really just, for me, sealed my passion for nonprofit work. I could never ask someone for $5 for myself. I would be like sweating and embarrassed and I would be dying, but I could ask for $1 million for a good cause. And I think that led to me doing a lot of events. And then what I did was through doing events, doing the fundraising, I was asked to serve on a board. And it was a really small board. I really didn't even know what it was to be what a board was, because just to give you a little background from my own education, I came here as an immigrant. I didn't speak any English. I remember my parents would tell a story that the little girls that I would play with on our street would say, "What language does Sandra speak?" And I figured it out. I finally was able to communicate, and that led me to be the first person in my family to go to college, to come and do and have two masters. This, the nonprofit degree master's is my second master. And thinking that I would be on a board again was an amazing opportunity. And this was for small school, which ended up being my first client as a consultant. So we'll go there. But let me just tell you that the board experience was really amazing. And from there, I then went to the Lawrenceville School Board. For those that don't know it, it's a 200 plus school, very traditional, very long history, a lot of alumni on the board. And basically, I just had to kind of make it work. And one of the things I think about it, I felt like, well, I'm going to fake it till I make it, and that's kind of what I did. And you know, I I just fell in love with governance during that time because I really wanted to learn as much as I could, because I wanted to know what I was doing and be able to be really very good at the work. And I did. I knew they could maybe run Goldman Sachs and I couldn't, but I could really run that boardroom well. And I learned so much and I earned their respect. And that meant a lot because it wasn't easy to do that. And it was really a great experience. And I think that because of my time there, I was able to encourage them to bring more women on board and also bring more more diversity on the board that was not very diverse. So still a work in progress, but very excited that that was something I was able to do. And that led to then me being on the National Domestic Violence Hotline Board, because really my passion lies within women and children. And this was another extraordinary experience where I was able to come into a board. And because of my own experience of a lot of governance, I was able to help them on the governance side. And, one of the things I think is so important as we look at organizations is the chair and the CEO relationship. And I was able to really establish a strong relationship. I know there's some students in the class who have got to see the executive director of the National Domestic Violence Hotline come and talk to in class about what kind of relationship we have. And I think the key thing about having that kind of strong relationship helps an organization be stronger, because I certainly have seen when it hasn't gone that way and it just doesn't work. So that was all a really those are some of the things along the way that helped me grow. And all of this, I had all this, but it was funny. I was so fortunate in so many ways to have had all these experience, but there was something that was missing for me. And I was looking for something and I didn't really know what it was. Um, and what it was interesting, I kind of applied into the program, the nonprofit management program. I really was always thinking, "Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna get in." But I really wanted so badly to do it. And I was like on tenterhooks around it. And when that acceptance came, I felt like, a college student around the first time getting into school. I felt like I was a kid again and so excited. And then after I got that acceptance, I was like, "Oh my goodness, what am I thinking? I mean, I can't technology, are you crazy?" Like I mean, I can't like when I went to school, I was taking my notes and, on with paper and pen. But I got into the program and met incredible students, and that's where all of what I had learned and all my experience really came together for me. Came together because I was able to put a lot of the best practices, give the academic component, a lot of the I had a lot of the practical experience, but the educational experience added so much. And I thought also it was great for me because I could add to the classroom experience, because I was able to talk about it, and students offline would ask me, "Well, what's it like to serve on a board?" And then I could explain it, which would make it more interesting for the students. Um, there is where I kind of started thinking about, well, I've done all these kinds of things that I love, and I love all these different pieces, and it's where the whole idea of starting a consulting firm came about. So I started a consulting firm actually at the end of the program with great partners from the school. And it has been like an amazing experience. I'm growing every day from them, from our clients. And there's nothing better than that, because I feel at this point in my life, I could say, well, you kind of know it all. Well, I don't feel that way. I feel like I am constantly learning. But one of the things that I always like to say is, what are like takeaways? Because you spend an hour here listening to me, which I don't feel worthy, but I am honored that you're here. But the thing I say is, expect the unexpected. I think that I was the kind of person when I was going through my life, like I had my little playbook and I was like, this is the way I'm going to do everything. And sometimes, many times it doesn't really turn out that way. To be honest, sometimes the playbook is better, but, and reality isn't. But in many ways, these unexpected moments, like could never have said I was going to do a nonprofit program at Columbia. I would never have expected that. I would never have expected that I would start a consulting firm. Those are really unexpected things. And they're like some of the highlights for me in my life. So I would say be open to taking chances. Don't sell yourself short. When you get into anything, into anything like my Lawrenceville experience, which I could have taken a different approach, I said, I'm not going to be intimidated. I'm going to take it on, and I'm going to take that challenge. So I think you should just, and it's okay to be like ordinary and regular. That's wonderful, because life, with, kind of like just kind of going along in an ordinary, regular way is great. But don't be afraid to be different. Don't be afraid to be extraordinary if you can. And I think that's all I have for you today from my little story.